Hello lovelies, assalamu alaikum. Welcome back to my channel. If you are new here, my name is Sue. I make food, lifestyle vlogs, DIY, some more. In today's video, I'm going to be sharing what causes ulcer, how to prevent ulcer, and how to treat it naturally. Okay, so based on the popular questions I received on my previous video with regards to cloves water, the benefits of cloves. The question was, can someone with ulcer take cloves or use cloves water? The answer is yes. But before we start, I want to quickly touch on what causes the ulcer, okay, how to prevent it and how to treat it naturally. So just take a seat if this topic seems to be a bother to you. All right. So, and please don't forget to share to your friends and your loved ones so that everyone could also benefit from it. Okay. What is ulcer? It is a sore that is developed in the lining of the esophagus, the stomach, or the small intestine. A sore that is developed in the stomach, the esophagus, or the small intestine. When we begin eating, the stomach produces acid, okay, and this acid helps with the digestion of food so that the food would break down into our system. So when there is excess of this acid, or when you begin chewing and perhaps you are not chewing to eat, maybe you are chewing gum or anything or whatsoever, your stomach begins to produce this acid. So this acid tends to corrode or erode the small intestine or the digestive tract. That is, the ulcer occurs when there is a damage in the lining of our digestive tract. Ulcer occurs when stomach acid, in particular stomach acid, damages the lining of our digestive tract. Okay, this stomach acid is produced whenever we start to eat, because that acid is going to help to break down the food we eat to be carried out into the various section of the stomach. So that is how it happens. So what are the causes of this ulcer? One, if you are someone that likes eating spicy food, you might have to be careful, okay? Because that is one of the causes of stomach ulcer, and which is known as peptic ulcer. Sorry, peptic ulcer. Okay, if you are someone that likes spicy food, you might want to tone down a bit on it because it might lead you to having stomach ulcer. Two, bacterial infections. Bacterial infections. So be careful not to have any kind of bacterial infection within, because this can lead to stomach ulcer. Three, if you like smoking, or if you are smoking of you might also want to be careful, because smoking can also lead or can also cause stomach ulcer. If you are someone who likes taking alcohol, or if you are taking alcohol also, you have to be careful with that. That can also cause ulcer. All right. Yeah. And the fourth one is too much of stress can also lead you to have stomach ulcer. Untreated stress can also cause you to have stomach ulcer. The last but not the least, which is very, very common among us, is the abuse of NSAIDs. NSAIDs are non-steroidal anti-inflammatory drugs, okay, like painkillers, aspirin, diclofenac. All these are non-steroidal anti-inflammatory drugs. I mean, basically, any anti-inflammatory drug can cause you to have stomach ulcers. That is why it is advised for you to eat before you take this medication, because they have the tendency of corroding your or eroding your intestine. And we know it, like using painkillers is very, very common. When one has any ailment or so, you just grab painkiller. You might want to be careful with that, okay? Especially with the use of painkillers. These painkillers can cause you to have stomach ulcer. That is abuse of them. You take it when it's needed, and you have to follow the instruction. You don't just take them at any, like, just like that, because abusing them can cost you a lot, and it might lead to you having ulcer. So how do we prevent this? Okay, just as the causes, you have to tone down or stop eating hard, spicy, salty, acidic foods and drinks until you are totally healed of your ulcer. Okay, how to prevent it is to tone down or stop eating too much spicy food, too much acidic food, too much salty food, okay, and drinks. That's the only way. If you are smoking, you need to cut out smoking. If you are drinking alcohol, you need to cut out drinking alcohol, or you need to tone down on it, because it can also lead you to having ulcer. All right. And if you are going through a lot of stress, you have to also tone down on it. Try to manage your stress, because untreated ulcers can lead to stomach bleeding. You might want to be careful with that. Tone down on your stress level. That one is also very, very important. Okay. So let's come to how to medicate this naturally. That is where the cloves come in for those who ask if they can take the cloves or drink the cloves water with ulcer. Yes, you can. And this is how you go about it. Get yourself some cloves. I believe you are already familiar with this. And some cardamom spice, cardamom seed. Crush these two together into a powder. Maybe you can take a tablespoon of this and a tablespoon of the cardamom. Crush them into a powder, okay, and take a half teaspoon. When you are done with your cooking, you can mix this with your rice. If it is porridge, you can mix this with your porridge and drink, or you can mix it with lukewarm water, just a half teaspoon, and drink. What this is going to do is to form like a barrier. The cloves is going to there is a compound in it which is going to help with to produce, which is going to help you, okay, to produce gastric mucus. Okay, there's a compound in it that helps you to produce gastric mucus, and this gastric mucus is going to line in your intestine or your stomach, okay, or your esophagus or your stomach lining, or your digestive tract is going to line in to form as a barrier, okay, so that the acid wouldn't get to damage your digestive tract. Okay, yeah, so whenever you have the ulcer upsets, try to get the cloves and the cardamom crush into powder. Just take a half teaspoon or quarter teaspoon, little by little, because you cannot cure it at once. Okay, remember, everything that is taken in excess is bad for the system. So you mix it with lukewarm water, glass water, and drink. And if you can add it to your dish, like I said, if it's rice you cooked, if it's beans, just take a quarter teaspoon or a teaspoon, a half teaspoon, mix it with it, and then you consume. And inshallah, continuously taking this, you will definitely see change in your ulcer, and not and this is going to take months, okay, but gradually you are going to be free of that. Okay, yeah, so I believe I have touched on, or I have explained to your understanding. If not, please, you can leave your comments down in the comment section. If anything, I can come back to address it. And for those with mouth ulcers or mouth sore, you can also take a quarter teaspoon of salt, dissolve in 1 glass of water. Make sure the salt melts, warm water. Make sure the salt melts, okay, and then you use it to gargle, or you use it to spoon. Sorry, that's a Netherlands word. You use it to rinse your mouth. Please do not swallow, and then you throw it out continuously. You are going to get an ease with your mouth sores, okay, the painful mouth sores, if or mouth ulcers. So I believe I have explained enough to your understanding. Okay, thank you so much for watching till now. Okay, thank you so much for the love and support. Don't forget to follow my other channel, Hausa Bars with Sue. I'll end it here till I come your way next time. Wassalamu alaikum.